So you're looking for more explosiveness on your forehand or maybe even your backhand, and you don't know where to look. You're swinging out of your shoes and you just aren't creating the RPMs or the pop that you're looking for. But it might be your shoes that you need to be looking at. This isn't a shoe video, but it's actually about your footwork. You see, when we create power, it's all about creating racket head speed. But racket head speed is a byproduct of coiling and uncoiling. And this starts with the feet. The kinetic change starts with the big muscle groups. So as you're using your feet to get set, you're coiling your hips and shoulders in order to create the lag on the forehand or the backhand. Now, from there, what ends up happening is your hands, because you hear a lot of times, throw the hand and all the other tips, your hands are there to really help with control. You want to keep them nice and loose, but they're helping with control. But what a lot of players run into is an error with the way they're setting up that limits the coil. And this is about the feet, as I was talking about paying attention to your shoes. You see, on the open stance forehand, a lot of times what happens as a player sets up, when they take their outside step, you can see on my right foot as a righty, I'm more at a 45-degree with my step. Now the problem is that from here, it's really unnatural to coil even further from this point because of the way my foot is set up. Instead, what I want to be doing is, as I'm ready to hit the open stance, I want to step parallel to the baseline. My foot should run parallel to the baseline. It shouldn't be intersecting if I was to draw a line from my toe outward. And what this does is when I step here, it really helps with this coil. Now here's the cool part. We know that the unit turn is really important. You know, if you're just getting started, your unit turn is one of the first things that should be accomplished, getting your upper body coiled and turning sideways. This happens naturally as soon as I start to take this step with my right foot. My chest starts to face the side fence and I end up in this nice coiled position. But again, if my foot ends up here, look at the orientation of my chest now as opposed to here. So make sure that foot is going where it needs to be. This is even true with a closed stance forehand, not as largely to the same degree, but if I'm stepping in on a closed stance forehand, meaning that I'm staying more sideways, I'm still gonna step more parallel to then get my weight forward. My foot might creep a little bit more inward towards my chest, but it's still, you never want to make that first step here and then try to get sideways. It's going to be a lot easier to move about the court if your first move is always as if you're going to turn and run parallel to the baseline. So a great way to practice this is to hold the racket on both ends and make this step parallel to the baseline and feel this energy exchange when you coil. And then from here, completely uncoil. All right, so again, I'm getting set up parallel to the baseline with my feet, and from here, I'm getting that energy exchange all the way around. Now in contrast, look what happens, because if you don't do this, your forehand is gonna be trash, right? If I step at a 45 and I'm here, I'm not getting the same coil. It's very, very limited, all right? So pay attention to what you're doing with your outside leg, your dominant leg, because it's going to determine how much you can coil, how much racket head speed you can get, and how much power and spin is going to come from that stroke as well. All right, Play Your Court team, give this a try. Remember, footwork is one of the most important elements to being an accomplished tennis player. Federer said it is the most important element, that if you look at all the best players in the world, they coincidentally have the best footwork in the world. So make sure you're paying attention to what your feet are doing to get more power on your ground strokes or more spin or better timing. It leads kind of to all of it. But we appreciate you guys watching today. We'll see you next time.